good evening, and welcome to My Startup TV Africa, your premier destination for all things entrepreneurial across this beautiful African continent. I'm Jayasri, and I'm bringing you this show all the way from Dar es Salaam, a beautiful city in East Africa's Tanzania. We have an exciting and informative show ahead for you. But before we dive in, please remember to subscribe to My Startup TV on YouTube and follow us on X, Instagram, Facebook, and Coop and LinkedIn. Visit our website www.mystartuptv.in for the latest updates and exclusive content. We have podcasts for you on Amazon and Spotify. Please remember, your support helps us bring you the best in African entrepreneurship. Now let's get started with today's headlines. So in today's headlines, first of all, we have a groundbreaking development from Egypt. Egyptian digital investment platform Thunder, and it is spelled as THNDR, has expanded its services to the United Arab Emirates. And they have acquired a Category 3A license with retail endorsement from the Abu Dhabi Global Market Financial Services Regulatory Authority, FSRA. So this is a big achievement for the Egyptian startup. The startup's founders are Ahmed Hamouda and Saif Amr. I hope I'm spelling it right, AMR. They launched Thunder in 2020 after participating in the Silicon Valley-based Y Combinator Accelerator. Thunder initially offered users a commission-free, mobile-first equities trading platform that makes investing in stocks, bonds, and funds easy. The startup, which became the first company to receive a brokerage license in Egypt since 2008 and 2020, then launched an additional product that allows users to trade in mutual funds before securing a $20 million funding round for MENA region, which is short for Middle East and North Africa region, expansion in February 2022. Now let's move to the next news. Next comes from the health tech arena. South African authorities have issued a patent to an Israeli startup, Zero Candida, for its innovative treatment for Candida yeast infection. For those who do not know, Candida is a yeast fungus, that occurs naturally in the body, but an excess of it can cause infection, most commonly in the mouth or vagina. It affects 3 out of 4 women worldwide at some stage in their lives, and untreated, it can cause serious health issues. The startup solution claims to use high-energy blue light to destroy the fungus quickly without side effects. So far, patients have mostly been using antifungal drugs to treat this yeast, but such drugs only worked on the symptom, not the root cause. The next news comes from Nigeria. The Lagos state government in Nigeria has set aside 1 billion naira in seed funding for startups through the Lagos State Science Research and Innovation Council, which is also known as LASRIC. This major announcement came during the inauguration of Lagos's newly reconstituted LASRIC members. This event highlighted Lagos's growing reputation as a hub for early stage and unicorn startups. Some of our viewers will know that Nigeria is a very important startup market for African startups and entrepreneurs. It holds a lot of healthy and fairly nurtured startup ecosystems. One of the companies that is making news globally from Nigeria is Flutterwave. I request all my viewers to look up on Flutterwave and the work that they are doing. Going back to the news now, we are this funding from the Nigerian government is directed at Lagos' startup ecosystem, which is outpacing many other African cities in success metrics, foreign direct investment, and the number of innovative solutions and patents. Let's hope, viewers, that this fresh government funding strengthens the ecosystem further. Now, before moving to the next segment, I remind you all to stay tuned to My Startup TV Africa for more updates on the incredible innovations powering Africa. Subscribe and follow us on all our platforms for daily updates. And now it's time for the main segment. Today, a very special guest is joining us for an in-depth interview. Mpho Makutu is a self-taught robomaker and the founder and CEO of MphoRobotics. It is a design printing startup that brings ideas to life. Before we learn more about his journey, challenges, and the future of entrepreneurship, let's watch a quick video.
Ke tswa motsaneng o mongwe go la Limpopo. Ke thomile go aga diroboto ke na le mengwaga e 10. Tlhotlheletšo ke humane ge go be go agwa tsela motsaneng wa gešo. Ke be ke hlwa ke lebeletše metšhini go bona gore e šoma bjang. Ke be ke tla napa ka ya gae ka nyaka ditsekana tša kgale tša didirišwa go leka go dira o mongwe wa metšhini eo. Ga se ka rutwa ke motho dilo tše, go ya ka nna ga ago yo a bego a swana le nna sekolong. Le ge go le bjalo, ga se ka dumelela se go ba tšhitišo. Ga bjale ke dira dithuto tša go itlwaetša mošomo ka vets. Le gone le ke iphile hllohlo ya go aga roboto ya letsogo yeo e ka fepago ngwana. Ponelopele ya ka ke go ba le workshopo yeo go yona nka rutago bana go dira diroboto, robotics. Gobane ke na le kholofelo ya gore diroboto di ka tliša bokamoso bjo bokaone. Se dumelele setlogo sa gago se go thibela go phethagatša ditoro tša gago.
That was wonderful and impressive, wasn't it? Let's learn more about it from the man himself. Welcome, Mpho. It's such a pleasure to have you on My Startup TV Africa. Could you check the audio at your end? I can see that you're saying something, but we can't hear it. Mpho, could you check the audio again, please? Let's wait for 1 or 2 more, 1 minute perhaps. We can't hear any audio feeds, but we can see that Mpho is right here. While Mpho is coming back, let me tell our viewers about some of the other exciting developments, not just developments, just to help them understand what the startup ecosystems in Africa are generally like. It's a lesser known space in the ecosystem world, especially a lot of people following startup updates in India do not realize the potential or all things wonderful that are happening here. So let me start quickly. Let me try to quickly give you some idea about things about the ecosystems and how they are performing here. So, you know that Africa is the world's second largest and second most populous continent after Asia, with 1.4 billion people, I think more than 1.4 billion people. Uh, it has a rich startup sector in the nascent stages, of course. In 2021, startups secured $4.3 billion with more than, which was 2.5 times more than 2020. Companies like Flutterwave in Nigeria that I spoke about earlier are reaching billion-dollar valuations, showcasing the potential of the market. So I think it would be interesting for a lot of entrepreneurs in India to take interest in what is happening in Africa right now. Let's go back to the screen and check if Mpho is back and if the audio issues have been rectified.
Are you able to hear me?
Now it's better. Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay, great. My apology for that. Sorry.
No problem at all. How are you, Mpho? It's a pleasure to have you on the show. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a very great pleasure to be here. So yeah, I hope you can hear me clearly.
Yes, you are absolutely clear. I think we'll quickly jump to the interview. Let's start by having you tell us a bit about your background and what inspired you to start your company for robotics. I hope I'm pronouncing it right.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Yeah. So my name is Mpho Makutu. I am from MphoRobotics. So the MphoRobotics specializes in robots for education, especially STEM robots. So what we do is we build Lego robots so that we can give children the chance to get to start building robots at a young age, and then in an easy and interactive a way, and also in a fun way. So yeah.
That's interesting. So my next few questions will be focused on your early inspiration and beginnings. So first, can you tell us a bit about your journey into robotics and technology? By that I mean, what initially sparked your interest in this field?
Okay, great. So actually, this inspiration came about when I was growing up. So I'm a guy who liked robotics, and I would always follow these machines, especially the road construction machines. Like, wanted to see how are these machines working, and then after that, I would go home and then look for any spare electrical parts that I can use to build one of those machines, and by that time, we couldn't even, know about, 3D printers, laser cut machines, these, fancy or, good machines, or equipments to build, the, products. So yeah, but that, I mean, didn't stop me from what I wanted to develop. Like, I just went to the streets and then looked for any trash that I could use to build one of my robots. So yeah, and then after that, that's when now I started taking them out there, show people that okay, this is what I can do, this is what I can build, and then so that if there are people who are able to help me out, to maybe get the funding, or instead of just building them from trash, then I can start using these other machines to start building them in a proper way, let me say so, and then yeah, in a way that I'm able to also share this skill to other children or other kids or other people. So yeah. And then, yeah, I believe it was 3 years back when I started, doing 3D printing, laser cutting, and this other technology. So that's when, like, now I started upscaling, my skill in a way that now I'm able to, take, that robots that I built from trash, and then now I'm able to transfer that to, CAD software. From CAD software, then I can be able to 3D print or laser cut. And then I made them in a way that, they can be like Legos, so that, children are able to learn, from them in a fun and interactive way.
That's actually exciting and brings me to my next question. What are the current projects that you are currently working on in terms of robotics? And what really sparked your interest in developing such kind of projects? But first, please tell us what are the current projects that you are working on.
Okay, great. So the current project that I'm working on, I'm just gonna first start with the STEM, robots. STEM robots simply, I just refer to, science, technology, engineering, and maths. And by that, I mean like, the robots that can be able to, move around and then throw. So those we call them, doodle bots. So those are, the robots that I'm busy, making for kids. And then, sometimes I bring kids together, on Saturdays. Sometimes, I go to their schools, and then, I bring them together, and then we build those robots together. And then they also, get to work in groups, and then so that they can build, one of those robots. So there are, a couple of them that I'm, working on at the moment. So there's also, different working mechanisms, because like I've seen that there's actually, a gap in our, education system. When I'm looking at it, it's like, we get to learn these things when we, go into varsities, we don't get to see these things in practical. So you might find that, okay, maybe there's something that maybe, a child or a kid wants to build, but it doesn't, even understand a basic mechanism that, how to convert rotary to a linear motion. Maybe by that, maybe you want to make, an electric knife, for an example, but you don't know just that basic mechanism on how to convert rotary to a linear motion. Because, like what we are using in this, in this field of robotics, it's like there's always motion, but that motion, there are many ways to convert that so that you are able to achieve whatever you want to achieve. So these are kind of the gap that I want to bridge at a young age, at schools, for the young age at schools. So what I do is I want them to get to learn these, different working mechanisms. Like, it could be, universal joints, it could be, linear to rotary, oscillating, in a practical and, interactive way, So yeah, those are the current projects that I'm working on. But also there's another, robot that I'm working on, which is, like a 6-axis robot arm. Basically, it's the same robot that you find in the, automobile plant where they're building, cars. So I have one of that robot that, people from universities, people who are in, high schools, so they are able to come and then learn programming, coding, using the same robot that, I developed. So, and then another one is, there's this other, project that we are working on, but, I have these other guys that I'm working with as well. So it's like for the saloons. So it's like a hair braiding, machine. So we've realized that, our saloons, we take more time waiting for our ladies there in the hair salons. So now we just want to make them the product that can braid hair quicker. So yeah, those are kind of those are the current projects that I'm working on at the moment.
Wonderful. Robots that make you look pretty. Who doesn't want to hear more about that? But you mentioned a few seconds ago that about building your robots using recycled materials. Would you talk a
Yes.
little bit more about that? How did you manage to build your first creations using recycled materials, and what were some of the challenges you faced early on?
Okay, great. So yeah, the way I've started is, okay. I first went to my nearest scrapyards. So my nearest scrapyards, that's where you can find waste materials. So when I get there, is okay. I ask them about the waste that I can collect, and then I pay for it, But obviously, it's not as expensive as a material. Then yeah. So by that I mean using old, drill machines. So inside that old drill machines, I know the motors, they are always in a good working condition. So it's just the switches and some other stuff that are in that old drill machines. So those, obviously I'm using that for the motion, because the robot has to move. So for it to move, then I have to use the motors. So and those drill motors, they are very strong and enough to make an entire arm of a robot. So yeah, and then for the structure, I went to mostly for the structures, I go to the places where they just dump waste, like dumping area. So I know, like, I can find wires, so those are the material that I use to make the structure. And obviously I would just use a cardboard box to cover it. So in terms of the challenges, yeah, it was a bit hard, because sometimes working with trash, you might find like there are some of the stuff that it's a bit hard to achieve in terms of smoothness. Like when you're building an arm, it needs to move smooth. So it was a bit challenging, because you find like the wires, they're not that smooth in a way that if you use a 3D printer, you can make it to move nice and smooth. But yeah, so those I can say they are the challenges. And another main challenges are that you find like when I'm going to that nearest scrapyards, when I'm buying those motors, you find like some of these guys, they want to make them you want to sell them at high a price, and you find like that time I don't have that money, and I want to make sure that I achieve what I want to achieve. So, and yeah, I can say those are the main challenges, the money to buy those motors. Because yeah, I mean, finding them at dumping area, it's a bit hard to find all drill machines. So yeah.
Wow. Okay, so this just piques my curiosity even further. You just told me you've built a lot of, robos using recycled materials. There have been even windmill from recycled projects. If I did I hear that correct? Hello.
Hello, sorry, can you please repeat that? You say from what?
Yeah, I was asking. I
Yes,
understand that you have built quite a range of robos using recycled,
yes.
items. Like there were cars and robos that feed, and even a windmill from recycled items. Am I correct? Yeah. Could you then describe one of your favorite projects and tell our viewers about the process and why it is a favorite?
Oh, okay, great. So let me say my favorite project is actually the robot arm. Like the crane that I built, and also the robot that feed a child. So the reason why I'm saying it's my favorite one is because I know and I believe that the future now it's more about the robotics. So robotic arm, you can be able to program it to perform any tasks. So that's what I've also realized or discovered, that with an arm, arm behaves the same as my arm. So you are able to program it to perform any task. So as long as the movements, because the main thing is the movements, the motion of the of the robot. So that is why I'm saying it's actually my favorite. Like, yeah, our future, or the future, it's all about robotics. So yeah,
Wow.
that's what I'm saying.
For someone who's just very new to this world of robotics and she's still learning about it, I find what you do very fascinating. So tell me, in very layman terms, how do you come up with new ideas? What drives your creativity when you design these inventions, and how do you come up with new ideas and concepts? That's the long and short of what I'm trying to ask.
Oh, okay, great. So these new, innovations, I come up with these new innovations when I'm, watching, existing robots out there. Because I mean, it's not like something new to me. So it's something that has been existing years ago. But so since I'm fascinated, in this world of robotics, I'm always, on YouTube. Every time you'll find me on YouTube. You'll find me, watching, what are the guys doing out there. And then, after that, I would always, check, or okay, how are these guys, building these robots, and then after that, I'll just, say, okay, look, what do I need to also, make one of these robots? If I need a CAD software, then I download that CAD software. If I need, any software that maybe they use, it might be, better to, develop some of the parts or to make these robots, then I would, download that software so that I can get to, use it. And then, yeah, after that, I develop, these robots. So yeah, I can say main thing is the YouTube. For me, it's the YouTube. I'm always on YouTube, checking what are the guys doing out there. And then, yeah, after that, and then I would, think of, anything that I can, develop around robotics.
That's actually good use of screen time. Such kind of screen time should be encouraged, I suppose. So, coming to your next question on impact on community, I believe you're from Copper Mine. Am I saying it right? Your community? Again, the audio is we can't hear you. But my next question was, how has MphoRobotics, your company, and your vision has impacted your community in Coppermine? Now that the audio is back, I'm assuming. Can you give me the name again properly?
Coppermine, yes. It's
Coppermine. Okay. So,
Coppermine, yes.
so how has MphoRobotics impacted your community in Coppermine and beyond? Can you share some examples of how your inventions made a difference?
Okay, great. So, the difference that I can say, or the impact, so is that, people, get to, understand, or, see, how the great, or how the robots could, change, their lives by just seeing the stuff that I'm doing. So that's the first thing. And then the other thing is that, I get them to, start to, love the robots, and also get them to start building the robots, because of what, the waste that I'm using. Now they get motivated by seeing that, you don't have to, hesitate by, if you want to build anything, you don't have to hesitate, because you could use what you have. So if Mpho managed to, go and get, old DVD from his, father's, electrical appliances, so it means also myself, I can go and then look for, any broken, electrical appliances, and build, one of, innovations that I want to, build. So yeah, so that's what I can say. It actually, impact, their lives, because now they are able to build whatever they want to build. Besides saying, we don't have, proper equipment, we don't have, proper, tools, or we don't have proper, materials. So they could, take, that waste and then turn it into something, yeah. So, and also, like when it comes to, kids as well, instead of, them, just, roaming around the streets, so they are able to come together, interactively, so then they are able to, build, the robots.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, then I will move to the next question, which speaks to the entrepreneur in you. I think a lot of our viewers will be entrepreneurs, and they will also be interested in finding this out. As the CEO of MphoRobotics, what are the biggest challenges you have encountered in starting and running your own business, and in a developing economy like South Africa, which is
Okay, great. So yeah, I mean, our main challenge is that, in this field now, what we want to, do is, we wanna see, this our workshops that we are running, maybe, happening, maybe, a couple of times in a month. So sometimes it's difficult, because I mean, we don't have, capital for that. Because if, let's say, you have to run a workshop, you want to bring the kids together, you want to bring children in a space where they are able to build robots. So if you don't have, capital, so it's a bit difficult, to host such workshops. Sorry. So yeah, that's the main thing that I can say. It's challenging, capital. So yeah, funding actually. because I mean, like sometimes, you know, when you find like, okay, yes, like I mean, there are kids that you want to, you know, teach them how to build robots. You find like, okay, maybe sometimes, yes, there's that small amount of money to, you know, host them. You find like, okay, maybe at the same time they have to eat, you know, they're coming from disadvantaged, homes, so they couldn't carry their, you know, lunch boxes, so you need to, you know, get them food so that they are, you know, able to eat, because you can't, you know, keep the kids the entire day without eating. And then at the same time you find like, okay, maybe, you know, the labels that we have, or, you know, the robots that we have, so we don't have enough kits to, you know, give each and every one, because maybe they are about 30, they are about 50, so you can't give each and every one, because like now next time you have to come back for, you know, the next group, and then you don't have, you know, the other kids to give that. So you find like, and they are very interested, and they would love to go to get home, and then, you know, start, you know, building, you know, around that, you know, a Lego. So, and yeah, because of we couldn't give them it, then like sometimes maybe, you know, you know, it makes them not to, you know, start, you know, seeing these robots as, you know, a very great, you know, opportunity for them, and also, you know, as a, you know, a great thing to have, you know, because they don't have that kids with them. So what we would love, you know, to, you know, actually, yeah, see is these kids, you know, getting, you know, these robots, taking them home, getting home, and then being able to, you know, put it together, you know. Yeah, so that it will actually help them, you know, not to, you know, forget what they were, you know, that what they've learned. Let me actually put it like that. Yes.
That's an incredible amount of passion for what you are doing in South African
Mm.
classrooms. But what are your long-term goals for robotics, your company?
Okay, so my long-term goal is to, you know, see myself, you know, having, you know, a good space where, you know, instead of, you know, just going, you know, to different, you know, places where I can, you know, offer these workshops, then there's a place where, you know, I can be able to, you know, host these workshops, then people are able to come, you know, the community is able to come in, and then, you know, learn more about this, you know, different working mechanism, about, you know, robotics, and then they get chance to build, you know, their innovations, because we believe that, you know, if we can be able to host this kind of workshops or this kind of training, you know, a couple of times in a month, or, you know, the entire month, you know, we'll be giving, you know, the community enough chance to come and, you know, learn more about this. And also this, it's going to be, you know, interesting to them, because now they can see that, okay, instead of just learning once a month, now I can go there, you know, maybe 4 times a week. I mean, maybe 4 times a month, or, you know, even more than 4 times a month. Then they are able to see that, okay, you know, learning robotics is really, really, you know, interesting, and also it's going to, you know, help them, their minds, to, you know, keep their minds active, because, you know, they will be able to get home, and then, you know, think out the box, like, okay, what is it that they can do, because now they have learned, you know, different working mechanism. How can they apply that kind of mechanism, you know, in their businesses, or in their, you know, innovations that they want to, you know, come up with. So yeah.
um, Looks like you could give a lot of insights to people who are trying to be entrepreneurs, young people in universities, and maybe some of them even in our viewership. So, what advice would you give to young people in South Africa and then even in other countries who are interested in pursuing a career in robotics or entrepreneurship, especially those who are facing financial challenges? When every entrepreneur we speak to will only speak about capital and funding and bootstrapping. The thing is, how do you continue harboring, your vision in entrepreneurship in spite of such challenges? What would be your advice?
Okay. Uh, from my side, you know, what I would say to, you know, you entrepreneurs is that we know, like, it's hard, you know, to develop, you know, your innovation, you know, without, you know, proper equipment, without proper tools, without proper materials. But for me, I would say, you know, to keep your brain, you know, water to water your skills. So you need to, you know, always, you know, use what you have, use what you see. So, like I know most of people, at homes, there are, a lot of, broken, electrical appliances that they can use. I mean, like for you to build, a robot, you need to have something that moves. So, in most of electrical appliances, you find like maybe for an example inside the DVD, inside the radios, there are motors. So those motors, you can take them out and then, you start building whatever you want to build. Obviously, that will help you not to, forget about your innovation, or that will help you to, always, always stay into robotics, yeah. Because I mean, if let's say you say no, you know what, because I don't have proper equipment, I don't have proper tools, then I will build this whenever I have that, and then you will find that okay, you end up not being into robotics anymore. Because I mean, the reason why I'm saying this, I'm going to tell you that, like, I would love to tell you this, that I mean, a lot of people, they always, telling me, especially those who are older than me, they always telling me that, you know what, when I grew up, I used to build, a wire cars. I used to build, this kind of stuff using the motors. But, I ended up, leaving it. But now when I'm asking them, why did you leave it? And then they're telling me that, you know what, because of, I didn't have, maybe someone would say time, someone would say I didn't have proper equipment. That is why I ended up leaving it. So, but for me, I would say, if you don't want to be like, those guys who are going to be, telling the youngsters, in future to say, I had an interest in robotics, but because of, not having proper equipment, then I ended up leaving it. So for me, I would say, use what you have, use that waste that you have out there, and then, build, those innovations that you have. Because also what I believe in is that, if let's say you have an innovation that you want to build, so if you can build it, let's say maybe you are seeking for a funding, or you are looking for or companies that can fund you. It's better if you have something that is already working, so you're able to demonstrate, unlike just talking. So yeah, for me, I would say, for people who are interested in robotics, use those electrical appliances, but not the new ones. Don't break. I'm not saying break TVs at home, but use the old ones, the old radios. You use them, take out the motors, take out the wires, build those innovations that you want to come up with. Then it's better if now, I mean, it will be better for you to go and look for a funding while you're having something that you can demonstrate, unlike just talking.
Wow, that's very
Yeah.
useful actually.
Mm.
But then it also comes to the question: the way you are telling other people, and of course, your advice is invaluable. Do you have heroes? Someone who inspired you to get on this journey? Any resource or any person who inspired you, and you were like, no, I just want to be like this person, and I'm committed to this skill, and now I'm going to start my company and build robots. Do you have any such heroes or role models?
Yes, yeah. Like my role model actually is Elon Musk. Every time when I'm looking at the stuff that he's doing, I'm like, how do I get to that level? Because I see what he's doing is really amazing, and I believe that anything is possible. For me, if I can tell you that, some other guys, especially from right at home, my family, when they're telling me that, what, this thing of yours, building, robots, or this thing of entrepreneurship, so it's not really, sustainable, because of sometimes, when they see that, there's no, enough capital that you are generating, they feel like, what you're doing is not really going to work or going to help you. But I keep telling them, what, I want to, come up with, an invention that is going to, help, the world out there, and, simplify their lives. And for sure, I'm going to come up with that. I know, the journey that we are, in is not really, easy, but, it needs, it needs that patience, and then it needs, the belief. You need to, yeah, it needs faith, belief, and then actions as well. Because, if you just believe without actions, I don't think you will really achieve what you want to achieve. But for me, yeah, I mean, trust me, it's bit hard at the moment, because
That's actually quite inspiring. I hope
I
Elon
believe.
Musk is watching our show and learning.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, of course. Please go on.
Yes, yes, yeah. I was saying yes. I mean, it's a bit hard, but yeah. I mean, with the belief, action as well, faith. Yeah, we will really get where we want to be. So yeah, Elon Musk, he is.
Elon Musk, it is quite inspiring. I hope you also scale to several heights
Mm.
of success, and we will keep following your updates on social media. We're nearing the end of the interview, but I still have a couple of more questions. First one, how can government, communities, and organizations better support young innovators like you?
Okay, so for me, I mean, like I would say, government, if it can come on board, in a way that, okay, if let's say we, having, innovation, let's say there's someone who has an innovation and he wants to, bring that, to life. Because I mean, there are those guys who, you might find like he has an idea of building something, but he doesn't, know how to start, and he doesn't have maybe money to buy components and stuff so that he can develop that innovation. So yeah, I mean, if the government would come on board, that would be fantastic, in a way that, okay, when we go into pitch this to them, to say, look, this is what I want to develop, but I don't have 1, 2, 3. If we pitch this, if they can hear us, and then after that act, help us so that we are able to achieve that, that would be fantastic. And then at the same time, and I mean, another one is that it would be fantastic if our government, if they can, if they see that we want to get our youngsters into robotics. So these workshops that we are doing, if they can come on board, to support us, financially, so that these children out there, they get a chance to learn about this robotics, because we believe that these things are possible. It's a matter of getting the right people to actually share these skills with you, and then yeah, so that you can build your business. Because I mean, like, if you can check in our country, there are a lot of graduates that are there that they don't even have jobs, and some of them, they are just, I mean, there are people who even if they didn't graduate, but they don't have jobs. So you find like, okay, this STEM robots, or this chance of running the workshops, it could help them a lot, in a way that, okay, if let's say we give them the chance to learn about this robotics, then I mean, the minds are, we have, like there could be something that you can think after, learn about, this, different working mechanisms, and then you can start, a business out there and start, making money. So yeah, we believe that if our government can hear us when we say we're running the workshops, we want, the community to come and learn, about robotics, to learn about this, these different working mechanisms, so that they can be able to build their businesses. So yeah, that would be fantastic if our government can hear us.
Yeah, it would absolutely be fantastic. It is
Yes.
important to encourage STEM education in every country, and more people participate in it. It reflects better in the quality of opportunities that are being generated. So, but my the next question would be a little bit more like a personal reflection. Um, for you, which is your looking back on your journey so far, what are you most proud of achieving with for robotics with your company?
Okay, great. So the first, uh, I would say, the success that I see, in the space that I'm at. So it's vegetable precinct. So I mean, the space, gave me, an opportunity, to use the machines, to use laser cutter, to use 3D printers, to use these other equipment that I didn't even know before, I came up. So, the success is that, like, now I'm able to, make some business, in a way that, okay, the robots that I'm making. So sometimes when we host in the workshops here, instead of buying these robots from overseas, or buying them from online, then these robots, we they developed by us, like we making them here at the space, and then people are learning from them. So instead of importing them, then it's locally made. So I can say that's a success for me. And then at the same time, it's that sometimes when there are other entrepreneurs who wants to develop their prototypes, so we are able to help them to develop that. So and then obviously that it's a source of income. So I can say that's a success.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, it's a success. And I'll come to the very last question on this discussion. How do you see your role as a techpreneur evolving, say, within the context of technology and innovation in South Africa? In 5 years, how do you see, or say even 10 years, how do you see South Africa evolving, and how will you fit into that future of innovation in South Africa?
Okay, great. So what I see is that the South Africa, maybe let's say in the next 10 years or so, so it's no longer going to be the same because of these chances that we give into the youngsters to develop these robots. So their minds, I mean, they will come up with very innovative solutions to this world. So yeah, I mean, that's why I believe that okay, if let's say we start them at a very young age, so yeah, they will be able to when they grow up, they will be able to come up with very great innovations that will simplify people's lives. So yeah, I can say that, but also from my side, I believe that in the next 10 years, so I mean, there should be there is definitely going to be those robots that's gonna come from me that will change people's lives. So that's what I believe, because I mean, like, I've already started. I'm working on different robots that they are amazing, but not just only amazing, but the robots that will if not saving people's lives, but simplifying people's lives. So yeah.
Oh, that's actually a beautiful thought, and you have shared with us a very inspiring story. Thank you so much for sharing your journey and your insights with us, Mpho. Before we wrap up, would you like to tell our viewers how they can reach out to you on social media or your company's, credentials?
Oh, okay, great. So, yeah, I mean, you can, reach me out by, maybe first of all by searching us on, YouTube. So my YouTube channel, it's Mr. Rob, the inventor. Mr. Rob, the inventor. So Rob for robot, R for robot, Mr. Rob the inventor. And then on my Facebook, it's Mpho Makutu the inventor. So that's our Facebook page. So if you search Mpho Makutu the inventor, and then on my you can also on my what we call a website. So my website is www.mphorobotics.co.za. www.mphorobotics.co.za. So that's where you can see a lot of stuff that we are doing, our products, and also our blog. So you will see there. So and you can also phone me if let's say there's anything you want to know more. So you are able to phone me. We can talk on WhatsApp as well. So my number is 079 411 7949. That's my WhatsApp number. I'll repeat it again: 079 411 7949. So yes, don't hesitate to give me a WhatsApp if there's any information that you would love to to hear or to get. Yes.
That's wonderful. So viewers, there you go. Our guest tonight has shared his contact details. Those who want to learn about entrepreneurship, robots, or might have any questions about their entrepreneurial journey or want to explore opportunities with him, please reach out to him on using the details he just shared. You must visit his YouTube page, YouTube channel, Mr. Rob the Inventor. So to see the different kind of projects that Mpho has done recently. So thank you once again, Mpho, for joining me on My Startup TV Africa. We hope you so high. You are very successful with MphoRobotics, and we'll be following your updates and developments and all the achievements that you accomplish in the future. Thank you so much for
It's a
coming.
pleasure. Thank you so much.
And to our viewers, thank you for tuning in. Remember to subscribe to us on our YouTube channel, follow us on X, Instagram, LinkedIn, Koo, and Facebook, and visit our website, www.mystartuptv.in, for exclusive content and updates. Remember, we are also hosting podcasts on Spotify and Amazon. Keep innovating, keep aspiring, and we will see you next time. On behalf of all my team, thank you, and I wish you a very good evening.